Okay, so I'm here with Mao. Mao has been, honestly, I've seen the stuff around on Twitter, Mao, for a while. So correct me if I'm wrong in any of these. You bootstrapped an app, Prayer Lock, to 25K a month in revenue in 6 months. This app was built in 3 days with AI, so kind of vibe coding, from what I can see. And now at 100,000, more than 100,000 downloads without any marketing team, which is remarkable. And kind of on the side, from what I hear, and I want to hear more about it, there's a fully automated YouTube channel with over 70,000 subscribers, which is insane. Pleasure to have you, man. Did I get it all right?
It's a pleasure to be here, Alex. Yeah, those all sound about right. We just hit 70K subscribers the other day on YouTube, so yeah.
Nice. Is it YouTube Shorts mainly?
Bro, it's all YouTube Shorts. We haven't uploaded a single long-form video. All YouTube Shorts, all automated.
Very nice, man. Very nice. Okay, I want to get started right from the beginning. So I understand that you have a finance background. Is that right?
Yeah, I have a finance background. I have a finance major, but I never really worked a real job. So back then, I decided to study finance because I was a really shy person. Like I have more like an engineering background or personality, right? Like very introverted. But I said, you know what? Like I want to be a business owner. I want to be a founder. But I feel like with my current social abilities, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I just said, what's like the most social major that I can get into while still like learning some technical stuff? It was just finance, but I never really, I've never worked a job in my life.
How old are you, Mal?
I'm 24.
24. Very nice. So zero coding experience prior to building the app. How did you get into that? So how did you kind of go from, the no plan at all, I'm imagining, when you're doing kind of finance and kind of trying to figure it out, to going and building an app and scaling it to where you are today?
Yeah, I know. So it was all honestly like luck, because I did have some coding experience by the time I built Prayer Lock. But while I was in my major, yeah, of course, I was trying to figure out what to do. I tried, being a trader, crypto, a lot of stuff, and none of it really filled my cup. It wasn't really my passion. But then halfway through my degree, and this would be around early 2022, halfway through my degree, I came across, while doing like a little research project for one of my classes, I came across OpenAI, and one of their first coding models, it was called Codex. Of course, now we know of Codex, but this was a different model. And that to me was so foreign. I thought I didn't even like computers. I didn't like computers. I was like, that tech stuff is not for me. But when I saw this AI model and the little demo video that they had, I said this is magic. This is just absolutely magic, and I want to understand it. Just because I'm a curious person, I was just like, I'm gonna read some AI books and try to understand it just to feel my little curiosity itch. But then as I kept reading about AI, I realized first, you need to know about computers and code, and it's not gonna be enough. But the more I read, the more I said, you know what, this is amazing. This is the future. This is just absolutely beautiful. From there, ChatGPT wasn't out, of course, yet. But I said, you know what, I'm just gonna learn how to code, again, just to scratch a little curiosity itch and see where this takes me. Took a couple of coding courses, and yeah, I taught myself how to code, and right around that time is when ChatGPT comes out, which was perfect timing because, now you have this AI that can help you code, and I have this a little of background in coding, so that was the perfect combination to start, doing apps. Prayer Lock wasn't my first app. I had been trying the whole app thing for 2 years. For 2 years and a half before Prayer Lock really worked. Yeah, it all came from that research project and just the curiosity to understand AI better.
Yeah, that's great. That's amazing. I love that. And I have a question that's going to be a bit parallel to this, but what do you think this means for the kind of world of entrepreneurship and apps? Because obviously now, I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's definitely more accessible than it was before to build, a software product, to build an app. And I think that opens the door to a lot of different things. What do you think this means now that probably, corporate is not yet aware of, or the kind of VC world is not yet aware of?
I mean, that's just the product isn't really what you should be focusing on. It shouldn't be your 100% focus anymore. Because as you said, building a product is it's not like a given. It's not super easy. But if you just take some time to just figure stuff out, I'm serious, if you have no coding experience, I did have some coding experience, but I've seen people without coding experience, especially with all the tools that we have now, you can make an app in, okay, let's say like 2 weeks or maybe a month if you have no experience, but you can for sure get it done. What I see now is you should have this notion of how you're going to distribute the app. You should have this notion of how you're going to make money with it before you start, because you can have that luxury now. Before, making the product maybe took so long that first you made it and then you figured out the marketing, but now it's the other way around. You got to have a marketing plan before you can ship, because making apps is so fast now that, yeah, you should just start with that if it's a business that you want to make, of course.
Do you think you should validate the concept now before building the app?
But what do you mean? Like, in what sense validating it?
So for a long time, people have done like wait lists and kind of sign-ups before kind of the products are launched. And because now you're saying, marketing is pulling most of the heavy kind of lifting on the app world, I was wondering if you think that because of that, because building is kind of more accessible, if you should kind of validate that with marketing before deciding what to build exactly.
Yeah. So I would say there are like two different cases here. Like, if you see that if there isn't another app that's similar to yours, then yeah, for sure you want to validate with marketing first, create some accounts, some TikToks, post, and see if there's a demand for it. The way you will know is that you'll see people, like, you'll market your app. So you'll make content as if your app was already launched. And if you see comments saying, what's the app? Or when is this coming out? App name, all of that. Like, that's all the validation you need. So yeah, you should validate, but not with wait lists, not with X posts. Just go and market and see if there's interest. But then the other way is, if there's already an app out there that's like yours, then that's all the validation you need. Like, just make it in a week, and you already have the validation. You have competition, so that tells you the demand is there.
This is great. So to recap what you said is, if there's already an app in the same vertical that's already successfully marketing, that's all the validation you need. So go build and market. And if there isn't, what you're saying is that marketing essentially would work as not only distribution, but also kind of validation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Man, this is insane. I wanna ask you, name of the app is Prayer Lock, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna share here my screen really quickly, just so we can take a look at it. So there's this landing page that I absolutely love. I tell people all the time. I wanna ask you. So how did this come about? What's happening here?
Yeah. No. So, funny story. So, in the app world, you gotta take, or at least in my view, you gotta take inspiration from other people, right? Like, take inspiration from other niches, take inspiration from other marketing campaigns and other marketing niches, and apply them to yours. So when I was making my landing page, because you gotta remember, this was probably like my 10th app already. This was like my 10th app, and all the other ones had failed. And the problem was that I wasn't focusing on marketing enough or at all, and I was just overthinking it. So I said, by the time I launched Prayer Lock, I said, I'm just gonna do what works, man. I'm just gonna do what works. And I remember around the time I launched Prayer Lock, Touch Grass was very viral. It was like everything on X. And I saw the landing page, and it's very similar to this. It was just the demo video, some big header, right? And then the subtitle. And I said, I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Like, I'm not gonna add the rest of the buttons that they have, but I'm just gonna, if it's working for Touch Grass, it's gonna work for me, right?
Nice. No, and I think that's great. And there's big entrepreneurs that have their whole thing about first concept being kind of copying what works and then adding your own thing to it. I want to get into a bit of the app side, because my perspective is that I still think a lot of people spend a lot of time in things on the product side that don't really move the needle. So I want to ask you, how do you think about features and complexity in the app? Is there a framework? Is there anything you followed to decide what to build, and then to decide the features that would be the kind of main thing for your product? Is there like an intuition there, or was it more of a framework?
Yeah, no. So in Prayer Lock's case, we had, of course, we took inspiration from Pray Screen, which of course you know very well. So
Nice.
I just said, you know what? Like, the core product is blocking your phone until you pray, right? Like the blocking feature, and then the praying aspect and experience. So I just said that's all the app needs, right? I'm just gonna do like my own take. I don't believe in copycatting, so I said like my own personality, full of colors, whatever. But I'm not gonna add, like, I guess the framework is, don't add any more features than it's needed, especially if you're making a competitor. As in my case, I was making a competitor of Pray Screen. Like, why would I add more features? That's just more complexity. Like just add the one feature and see if you can nail marketing, because that's going to be the real game. So yeah, and the same with my new app. We're launching Step Lock soon, which is block your phone until you walk. That's kind of different because there isn't really a successful competitor right now. But it's the same thing. Like you want one single feature that people are going to use. Like you don't want to make your app loaded. So we just made the same thing. Block your phone, and then we give you like the whole like walking thing experience, and then that's it. That's all you need. So just one feature apps, and start marketing. And then from there, you can add more stuff. Like by this point, Prayer Lock does have some other features that, for example, Prayer Screen didn't have, that Prayer Lock didn't have a month ago. Now you can customize your prayer times and you can prayer alarm and stuff. But that comes later as you get feedback. So my thinking is just launch one feature apps and go into marketing as soon as possible.
That's yeah, I agree. I want to ask this. Do you think that simplicity helps? Where do you think that simplicity helps the most in the beginning?
Yeah, so the problem is that a lot of times people making apps are, we still have, I guess, a little bit of a technical background. You know, it's not like, most people don't have like a marketing background, they have a technical background. So in their minds, they want to add all these features to bloat the app. So you really want to force yourself. That's why I say one feature apps. You're forcing yourself to just launch it as it is, because in your mind it's not going to be perfect. And that's where, funny enough, like marketing people and non-technical people have an edge once they start making apps, because that's going to happen. We're already seeing it. We're already seeing influencers making their own apps. That's where they have an edge. So you got to really focus and say just one feature. Don't make it perfect. I know your technical mind wants to, make it beautiful, but nobody cares about that. Like people just care about the problem, that you're solving a problem for them.
Yeah, I love this. And I have an interesting question. I have my own take on this, but this one is one of the questions I was the most curious about to you. So with all these obviously influencers coming into the space and having their own apps and like people who are, world-class marketers doing the same, there's a lot of conversation about product distribution. There's constant debate about whether to, perfect the app or to get it in front of people. What do you think? What's your take on product versus distribution?
Yeah, no, my take is definitely most of your focus should be in distribution, like even before launching. In Prayer Lock's case, Prayer Screen was successful. I saw some formats, like I knew, right, that there was some validation there, and that's where I started from. I didn't really start from the product. And then going forward, to be honest, like there's gonna be so much competition, and I feel like people are gonna be just influencers, e-commerce people, and just paid ads people. These people that don't come from the app world but have all this marketing experience are going to run laps around us, if we don't get ready. I mean, they have the advantage right now because you got to remember, like AI is at its worst right now. It's pretty good, but today is the worst it'll ever be. And you already have things like, Roark, Vivecode, all these sort of like AI app builders that take you pretty close to that point. So my thinking is we got to obsess over distribution, like technical people, people without that like marketing background. Otherwise, we're going to get beaten. The focus needs to be on the marketing, of course.
Yeah, and I want to go into that. So when you look back, and we were talking before this interview about hitting plateaus and some of the stuff that comes with it. How was the journey to, 25K a month, which is where it's at now, and I know it's going to be a lot more in a few months, but what was the journey like in terms of figuring out your distribution? I think this is going to be very helpful to a lot of early stage founders, even if it's VC backed. Like now, what everyone needs really to understand the journey is like, and to figuring out what channel works. What was it like for you?
Yeah, so I didn't have a marketing background. Like I didn't even have TikTok installed. Like back in like college and high school, I was that kid who thought he was cool because he didn't use social media. Big mistake, like huge mistake. So I first started from Praise Screen's marketing distributions, like their strategy basically, like some of the videos you guys were posting. But that didn't work for me. That didn't work at all, and now I know why. And it's, if you copy other people's videos, you're gonna get nowhere because you don't have the intuition around what made it viral, about just the viral sense in general. Copying just like that doesn't work. It didn't work for me. So from there, I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna, as people say on X a lot of times, just spam like content. Learn a lot in the process because I don't have the intuitions. I guess I didn't have a viral sense, and yeah, just figure it out from there. And so I tried a bunch of things at once. So to go from 0 to, I guess, the first 1K month, I just tried everything. I tried doing memes. I tried doing, like the Jack Fricks post, like with 4 cars. I don't know if you've heard of like that type of post.
Of
and
course.
just copying other Christian apps content. And the one that ended up really working for us was the UGC reaction video with the demo on it. You know, just very short
Hmm.
10-second videos with a reaction and the demo. That really worked. And that's what truly got PrayerLock from 0 to 2K a month. And then from there, I just hired another creator that scaled it to 3K. And then, but by that point, I had some money to invest because I was also broke. So I couldn't invest before, but now I could. And I said, I'm going to try the influencers thing out. But I knew like 3K it's not nearly enough to make influencers work. I tried it anyway. It didn't work as I thought, because with influencers, you really do need volume of influencers. You need to know what you're looking for. I mean, I always say like you need at least 10K to really, you know, try some influencers here and there and just have one that really hits. But that didn't work for me. So the next thing I did was just doing paid ads. And the funny thing is, around that time, the App Mafia course came out, and I just watched the distribution section of it. And surprisingly enough, I thought the most, I guess, alpha I was going to get from it was the influencer side, but no, it was the paid ad stuff. And I said, okay, I think I'm just going to try this out. And I just, you know, installed the MMP and started just doing Spark ads for my TikTok videos that were, you know, that had good views, 50K, around 50K. But yeah, it worked. That took the app from 3K to 10K a month. And from there, you know, we just scaled ads. We just started scaling ads. I guess what really blew PrayerLock, you know, to 25K a month was I was now trying to create my UGC army. I was going to try it out, and I came across this great, you know, UGC creator. He had like 11K followers, and I reached out. I told him, hey, like, do you want to work with me? And he said yes. And I didn't really know what I was doing. Like a lot of PrayerLock's story is, I don't know what I'm doing, and then I'm just figuring it out as I go. So I don't know how to handle creators. I don't know. So I was lucky because I just told him, like, post something similar to this. Like, I gave him one video to take inspiration from. But he was so good that he made his own format, and that format immediately got 10K views. And I was like, wait, what? Like, one of the first videos 10K? Like, come on, like, this is great. And I just told him, like, keep spamming the same thing, like, keep spamming it. And he had a notion of what worked, and so together we started, you know, like, improving the videos. And then I tried those as ads. I pushed them as ads, and that's where we were getting like $3 CPAs, you know, $3 trial starts. And that's where really everything took off. We've just been scaling that since then.
This is beautiful. I love it. And I think figuring it out as you go is the story of every entrepreneur on earth. So that's completely fine, man. I want to recap what you said. So it was one format that worked well for you initially, like reaction, which is basically a creator reacting on the camera and then going into showing the product. And then my question to you is, you never ended up scaling that as like a big UGC program, which people think they need. Why is that?
Well, I guess, to be honest, just because the ads ended up working out and I was under a budget. I was under a budget, right? So I needed to know where to invest my money. And I said, okay, so I hired one more UGC creator that got me only an extra like 1K in revenue. But then I tried the ads and that got me 6K in like extra revenue. So my bet is on the ads right now. Like, that's where I'm going to
And
put my
were
money.
the ads, were the ads on the UGC or using that UGC, or was it with different creatives? I'm curious.
Yeah, no, it was just the ads on the UGC videos only. I had two girl reaction like accounts, and that's all the videos I was pushing as Spark ads.
That's insane. I love it. I love it. This is great. I work with a lot of founders, and I think this is one of the things that where they leave the most money on the table is because it's like you have so much content that you could take on ads and get so much more out of it. That yeah, that's great. So realistically, how long did it take you to start seeing real results on PrayerLock?
Okay, yeah, so PrayerLock was launched in June of 2025, and it was around September. September was like where everything like just took off. So yeah, it's just what is that, like 5-6 months? From
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, like in between that moment, in between that time, I was just, you know, trying to figure everything out, just trying stuff out, and it really did seem like I wasn't going anywhere. But it's just how it works. Like you try everything and then it all happens at once.
That's the process. That's the process. I've read a lot of your X stuff. In one article in particular, you were saying that you considered UGC to be the hardest thing to crack as far as the UGC program. And I'm biased by wanting to talk about it, but obviously I wanted to get into that on why you think that. Not that I disagree or agree with it, it's just I found it very, very interesting. And I thought that this take was very interesting to also let kind of other people know in the space. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, no, and I'd also love to hear your thoughts on that. And the reason I said that is because the article was geared more towards an audience that is more technical. People on X have more of a technical background usually. And coming from that background, which is very similar to where I came from, there's so much stuff to learn, especially with UGC creators, how to handle UGC creators, get them to perform. If it's a 15-year-old, you have to make sure, you have to be in contact with them constantly. If you're a solo founder, you're trying to scale your app, you're trying to make sure, you launched it hopefully without bugs, but I don't know if it has bugs, you have to fix that. And then aside from that, you're also going to be talking to a bunch of creators, you have to maintain them basically. Just the whole, management process of UGC creators. I have some experience with it. We have tried some campaigns, and I just found that to be very, very time consuming. So going from an audience that is more technical, I said I wouldn't necessarily start with that especially if you're a solo founder and you don't have marketing experience. Of course, if you have marketing experience, go ahead. I think that's a holy grail, right now of apps. But yeah, that was the reason I said that. It's just a lot of things that you don't see. If you don't have a viral sense, how do you know that their videos are gonna perform? You're gonna waste a bunch of money if you don't know what you're doing. So
I agree. Fully agree. I think it's either experience or capital. You need to have one of those to be able to do UGC from the start well. That's it. It's if you don't have, it's impossible. There's a lot of unknowns. There's the management side. There's getting creators, which is a whole ordeal. There's getting them to post. There's feedback cycles. It's a nightmare. So it's and it always becomes someone's full-time job. Whether it is yours or someone on the team, it always becomes someone's full-time job. Yeah, I agree with you, Mao. Wanted to ask now as a kind of follow up on that. If you're talking to someone who's kind of trying to grow a new product, we have a lot of founders that are serial founders, have different apps or even app studios or bigger companies launching kind of product lines, or just bootstrap founders, early stage. What do you think now? How would you advise them into getting product market fit? What would be the steps?
It really depends on the type of founder and their stage. If they're early stage, you have no other successful product, you don't really have a marketing experience, which is a lot of new people coming into the app space. That's their case. I would say a lot of things. First, don't make a bunch of apps at once. That's not going to work. Don't spread yourself too thin. You have so much to learn, and because you have so much to learn, I would say start with a successful niche. Start with an app that's already successful, right? So that was my case. And in Periloc's case, we started from pre-screen, and we had so much to learn that ended up being the right call, because you learn those marketing lessons through a product that is kind of already validated for you. So yeah, if you're starting out, I would say just make an app in a niche that has a good chance of success. Just take inspiration from an app. Have your own your own twist to that, and then from there, you're going to learn so much that you didn't know. And once you have that, once you have systems, once you, get a sense of marketing, of how it works, then you can make other apps. Then you can apply those same systems to the next app. But yeah, this was especially for new founders in early stage, because I see a lot of people on X just saying, yeah, because it's so easy to make an app. I made one today, and then I made one yesterday, and then one the next week. And that's cool and all. But that's not a business. If what you want to make is a business, I would really advise to just focus on one and make it work.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it comes down to focus as well. There's so much to absorb that you need to be fully into one project to really be able to get there. So how do you see AI? I know you guys are messing around with a lot of automation stuff, especially for the content side and AI. How do you see AI now coming into the space? What do you think is disrupting in terms of content? Do you think it's going to make a lot of difference?
Yeah, that's a good one. The beauty of it is we don't really know right now. Right now, I can tell you automating content and having that as your sole marketing strategy is not a good idea. Like that's not a good idea. Like I wouldn't advise to just automate your content with OpenClaw and just have that as your marketing strategy and then make like 10 apps while that is like no, that I don't really agree with that or advise to do that. But we don't really know, like 2-3 years ago, you couldn't one-shot apps. These tools weren't out, they didn't work. So my thinking here is try it out, play with it. Sure, like automate 1, 2, or 10 accounts. But while doing that, you also have to, have your OG marketing strategies, influencers, paid ads, UGC, you have to have all of that. And then as things get better, maybe as video models get better, as all of this improves, then I for sure think there will be opportunities there. I for sure think there are opportunities. It will do well, but just don't treat it as your sole marketing strategy. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, AI is coming to change a lot of things, like especially the automation and the AI content. Have you guys tried AI content? Done any like AI avatars or?
We've actually tried AI avatars. We tried, like carousels and all of that. The hardest part about it, funny enough, it's not the actual content, but it's getting accounts, at least in our case, like getting accounts to perform well, like getting them like warmed up and everything. Like you get blocked pretty easily, especially on TikTok. You get shadow banned. So that's like making the content is just child's play, but actually getting it to perform and getting over shadow bans, like that's actually like a challenge.
Yeah, the infrastructure.
Yeah, sorry?
No, yeah, the infrastructure of just distributing the content harder.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with our YouTube channel that, got 70K subscribers, I always laugh when I think of that because I mean we weren't really like it's what I'm saying. You should treat this kind of like a bet. It's like just like a little, I don't know, like a little experiment, right? And that's what it was for us. Like we just said, hey, you know what? Like we can scrape like hundreds, thousands of videos in seconds, and we can just stitch a little CTA to it. Why not? Let's just try it. And we did it. And then we scheduled that. We scheduled 700 videos and just forgot about the account. Just forgot about it. Like it was just a little experiment. And then we come back 3 months later and we already have 50K subscribers. And no. I feel like in terms of conversions, I would say that really hasn't gotten us many conversions. Like if we got like from 50K subscribers, I think it's 3 million views. If we got 20 conversions, that's a lot. So it's what I'm saying. It's not a distribution strategy. But I'm really curious. Like maybe we repurpose that and have long form content from that account. And another thing is it really helps with visibility. I mean, we have 3 million views who saw the prayer lock, watermark with logos. But it's what I'm saying. Like these things are they get you views, but a lot of it is just like vanity views that don't really convert. And like you should really focus on the highest leverage things that actually get you conversions and just treat this AI experiments as experiments for now, at least.
Yeah, at least for now. Definitely promising. So you guys now, talk to me a little bit about timeline. So right now, what is currently, kind of your biggest bet? And then looking into the future, what do you think is going to be, again, like a big bet for you guys going forward?
Yeah, so funny enough, okay, so speaking of AI, one of our biggest bets right now is just using agents to automate as much of our business as we can. And it's not marketing, like most of our alpha with our AI agents is in marketing automations. Is automating reports, is automating certain, like business processes, internal processes that we have, is communication with creators. Like that's right now our biggest bet, and we're spending a lot of time just trying to see where the opportunities are, but not focused solely on marketing. So just playing with agents a lot and automating our internal processes. And then the second one is again paid ads, but with web funnels. Like that's like I think like there's a lot of alpha in web funnels and meta ads. Like those are like our two main bets right now.
I agree. Web tab funnels. I saw a few reports the other day. I'll send it your way after on web tab funnels that are crushing. So I definitely think it's a good bet. This surprises me. I mean, what would you say to someone who's listening who was expecting, the bets to be, AI content and automating everything, and then, hearing that no, you guys are actually much more involved in making this thing work and being hands-on with the marketing rather than, you know, just automating it away. What would you say to someone who's listening and had the other expectation?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like don't believe everything you see on X. There's definitely future on it. Like we're playing with it, but yeah, just right now, it's just not what's moving the needle. So I'm sorry to tell you this, but you do have to make content yourself. You do have to post TikToks. Like please post yourself. Like if you post, you'll get the sense, the viral sense, or you start developing. Like, you'll start to get a sense of what works. Like if you're just automating content from day one, like. I think you're gonna make the same mistake I made with Prey Screen, which was just copying content without an understanding of what's happening behind it. So
And yeah, just a follow up on that. Why do you think the important thing is to understand why it worked rather than just copying the thing?
well, if you don't understand how it works, you're not going to be able to replicate the results. Content is such a, I might even call it an art. I don't know, like actual content, like the actual creative. There are so many little things that you need to tweak. Is it the hook? Is it the background? Is it the lighting? Is it this? Is it that? Like if you don't understand what's going on, you're not going to be able to iterate to get to a successful creative, to get to a successful, yeah, a viral video in the end that actually converts. So yeah, if you're just copying mindlessly, you might hit it, you might not, but that's the problem. You don't want to leave it up to luck. You want to be able to iterate your way to success.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think this is great insight. And I think this is going to be infinitely valuable to people who, you know, are kind of lost in the tactics of trying to make everything work. Mao, it's been a pleasure, man, to speak to you. I want to do this for a while now. Do you have any kind of final advice for people watching that are trying to grow an app for the first time or build something? This is a whole new concept, you know, vibe coding and then kind of scaling. What would be your final kind of advice for people watching?
So first, obsess over marketing, become absolutely obsessed over that, and then launch your products, I always say in less than 2 weeks. Like even if you don't have coding experience, I promise you, you can get it done in less than 2 weeks and even less if you have some experience. And then the third one is going from these two, start with an app start with a successful niche. Start with a successful app, add your own twist to it, and learn the stuff you need to learn through that. Don't try to make your like super original idea. Don't try to change the world with your first app. I believe you can, but once you learn how marketing and distribution and just mobile apps in general work. So yeah.
It's great advice, Matt. It's been great to have you. I'll leave your socials below. Is there anything specific you'd like us to shout out, or are we good to wrap up?
We're good to wrap up, man.
We'll leave here in the description Mao's app, Prayer Lock, and we'll leave your socials as well so people can check it out. And once again, it's a pleasure to have you, man. Appreciate it. And I
Thank
hope
you,
we
Alex.
do this again soon.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.